BYD, the second largest vehicle manufacturer in China now, is coming to Australia, bringing the Atto 3 SUV. This is all about that car. So who is BYD? It stands for Build Your Dreams, and they're coming to America and Australia in big numbers. Their goal is to sell 18,000 vehicles in Australia in a 12-month period. Now, if you look at total sales for EVs in 2021, it was around 17,000, of which 12,000 were Teslas. So 1,500 a month, they're going to be quite a player if they manage to make that. So this Build Your Dreams is now the second largest vehicle manufacturer in China. They have just overtaken VW SAIC conglomeration, and they're only just behind VW FAW, I think that's right, joint venture. So not only do they produce passenger cars, they produce commercial vehicles, buses, garbage truck, all those sorts of things. They produce rails such as a sky rail or monorail. They produce batteries. They've got LFP batteries, and they're one of the biggest battery manufacturers in China. Again, the BYD Blade battery is an LFP, so that's a lithium iron phosphate battery, and it's pretty stable with an ordinary nickel, cobalt, aluminium, or whichever other one. You drill a hole in it, it's going to burst into flames. These tend not to do that. The other good thing with LFP batteries is you can charge them up to 100% quite happily. They don't have such a density of power stored within them, but they can be discharged down and charged up quite happily a lot more times than the original lithium ion batteries. So they do have their advantages. So BYD have got a partner in a company called EV Direct, who've opened up a showroom shop in Sydney, which is the other side of the country, because I'm in the west in Perth and they're the other side of the country in Sydney. Now, for those of you from America or other countries, Australia is almost as big as America. It's about 7/8 the size in area. But to fly from Perth to Sydney takes just about as long as flying from LA to Miami. So yeah, it's a long way away. But fortunately for me, my son lives in Sydney, and I very nicely asked him to go around, take some pictures and some video for me, and this is the result. I've got some of his video and pictures and some B-roll that I found from EV Direct and BYD. So let's get into what is the Atto 3. So as I said, the BYD Atto 3, which is the Yuan Plus in China, is the car that EV Direct are bringing in from China. It's basically the first SUV in from China. The selling price for the 50.1 kilowatt battery is 44,381 plus on roads, which varies from state to state. And for the 60.4 kilowatt battery, $47,381 plus on roads. Depending upon the state that you're in, so Tasmania with the 50 kilowatt battery, it's only going to be $600 give or take on roads. Whereas for the top of the range, 60 kilowatt battery in WA, you will add over $4,000 to the price. Yeah, and I live in WA, so we have to pay $4,050 in stamp duty, rego, etc., which actually pisses me off somewhat when you've got eastern states, northern territory, and so on, where it's only a matter of hundreds. So yeah, pees me off. They've got three colours. White is the standard, and you can get a grey or blue for an additional 700. They're expecting the first deliveries to be in July 2022. For people that have ordered already, expect July, maybe into August, it just depends. They've already ordered them and they're being built in China. So they've got to build them and ship them and then get them around the country. They've partnered up with My Car, which used to be Kmart Tire and Auto, to do the deliveries and any service and tyres, etc. Not that you need much in the way of service for electric vehicles. I'm sure they'll just want to check the brake fluid and so on. Not a whole heap to do. In China, they got a lot of different equipment levels. The top of the range is called the Superior, and that is the only one we're getting here in Australia. So you can have a 50 kilowatt or 60 kilowatt battery in the Superior variant, and you can have it in white, grey or blue. So that's your limit at the moment. I expect that this will grow later on, but they have elected to bring out the top of the range Superior, which has got basically all the fruit. So if we have a look at the range of these two vehicles, the official figures for the 50 kilowatt hour battery is a WLTP range of 320, and the 60 kilowatt hour battery WLTP 420. So real world, expect less. I'm looking probably for the 50 kilowatt hour battery in the region of 250 to 270, which is actually more than you would get from the MG ZS EV, which has got a 50 kilowatt hour battery, about the same price, but this has got far more in it. It's got all the extras. So for the 60 kilowatt hour battery, real range 350 to 370, but that compares favorably with rear wheel drive Model 3, which is what I've got. Mine's down after several years to about 330 the way I drive, so that's fairly reasonable. To be able to get 350 to 370, I think that's all right. So charging the BYD Atto 3, it comes with the standard domestic plug, so you can charge it off your 220 240 volts, 10 amps, so that's two and a bit kilowatts. It also comes with type 2 AC charging port. Now it's supposed to be three-phase capable, which means that it could do up to 11 kilowatts. I can't confirm that. It may only be 7, but it does say three-phase capable, so that's 11 kilowatts it can charge at. It's got a CCS2, or the Australian version will have a CCS2 port, and that is only capable of charging at 80 kilowatts an hour. So not exactly brilliant, but it's reasonable for a vehicle of this price. So your charging times on the CCS2 for the larger one, there's talking 90 minutes to get it from 0 to 100%. I've owned my Tesla Model 3 for over 2 years. Not once have I got it down below 10%. I think the lowest I've got it down to is 12. And I never charge it to 100% because I've got the NCA batteries, not the lithium iron phosphate. But even so, you tend to run it down to about 20%, charge it up to about 80, 90%. Look, probably it will take an hour or so to do that. But you just make plans. I think for the price of this vehicle, that's not bad. And along with that charging, it's actually got a vehicle to load capability. I believe it comes with an adapter plug that you put on to the AC adapter, and then you can plug your appliances into. And apparently you can get 3,300 watts at 220 volts out. So that's just over 3 kilowatts, which will be enough to boil a kettle, run a microwave, even your espresso machine. So that's quite a nice, useful little extra. So power and performance. It comes with a front wheel drive 150 kilowatt electric motor, or 201 horsepower. I think that's about right. It's 0 to 62 miles an hour, or 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 7.3 seconds. Not as fast as a Tesla by any way, shape or form. But, you know, in the grand scheme of things, that's pretty reasonable. 7.3 seconds. It's using a permanent magnet synchronous motor. The exterior of the car it's blandish, but it's not ugly by any way, shape or form. But it does have, being the superior variant, it does have quite a few nice extras. So it's got a panoramic sunroof, electric slide and anti-trap, which is very nice. One touch open and close tailgate, which is also good. It's got some roof rails. I don't know how much most people would use those. It does have electrically heated and adjustable rear view mirrors on the side, and they are electrically retractable, so they will fold in. I don't know if they'll fold in automatically when you get out and lock the car. I'm assuming they will, but we'll soon find out when we've got the vehicle. So the interior is a little bit funky, I think you'd say. You've got all the steering wheel mounted controls, which is for the audio, the phone, the air conditioning, and the multifunction display. It's got an electric power assisted steering system. It's got a small 5-inch digital instrument panel in front of the driver, and a large 12.1 inch central display which can rotate. You can touch the screen. I think there's a button on the steering wheel that you can press as well, and it rotates through 90 degrees. So it goes from portrait to landscape and back again, which some people may like when they're doing their navigation. They might want it in portrait. If you're looking at something else, you might want it in landscape. It just depends upon your own personal preference. But to actually have that there is quite a nice little touch, I think. The seats are, it says leather styled. I don't know if that means that it's vegan leather or not. We'll soon come to that when we actually see it. It's got the usual digital audio band radio, Bluetooth connectivity, and audio streaming that you can do. An 8-speaker sound system made by Dirac. Don't know who the hell they are. You've got a single wireless phone charger, keyless entry and keyless start, and you get a portable key card. So all up, it seems to be pretty well set out. Now, of course, it's got a heap of safety measures. I won't list them all. I'll put them on the screen as they go up. But it's got a heap of airbags, electronic parking brake, anti-lock brakes, etc., etc. So they'll all be whizzing past now. I haven't got an official NCAP rating, but I imagine with all of these, it's got to be pretty reasonable. So the size of this is basically an SUV size. not a huge SUV, smallish SUV. Its length is 4.455 meters, width is 1.875 meters, height 1.65 meters, and the wheelbase 2.72 meters. Now, if you compare this to another car, the Kia Sportage, some people say Sportage, but that's like saying you shop at Target. I shop at House of Target, so it's the Sportage. It's within an inch or so of that. Now, the problem with it is, whereas the Sportage has got a boot space of 1829 litres, the Model Y is 1869 litres with the seats down. The boot space in the Atto 3 is only 1330 litres with the seats down. I could not find a reference to the boot space with the seats up, but it's a bit small, but that's still pretty reasonable. It's still bigger than a lot of other cars. So that's the only sort of letdown on it that I can see. So what do you think of this BYD Atto 3? The most expensive version, which is a coloured one, so it grey or blue, in the 60.4 kilowatt hour battery pack size in Western Australia, is about 52,100, which is quite a reasonable price. It's probably about $45,000 less than what the Model Y is going to be. It's price comparable to the MG ZS EV, but it's better spec'd. So what do you think? If you want to order one, you go to evdirect.com.au, click on Learn More and order now. So let me know what you think, whether you're going to order one. If you do order now, you may still get it in July. Keep your fingers crossed. So thanks very much. Hopefully one day I'll be able to take it out for a test drive when they get over here to Perth. Thank you.